এইটা দিলে শেয়ার স্ক্রিন আসবে এটা।
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Am I audible and visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I am sharing a screen now. Huh.
এইটা
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Your entire screen.
Enter screen.
Sir, today I am recording the meeting. Like
That's fine. Yesterday,
yes, sir.
last time
Yes,
you
sir.
didn't do it.
Last time, sir, actually, sorry, sir, I didn't know, so I could not record. But today, actually, I am recording, sir.
Okay, okay, good, good.
ওইখানে একটা ক্লিক মারো,
কোথায় এখানে?
এই যে এইখানে একটা ছোট্ট, হ্যাঁ এখানে মারো,
এখানে?
হ্যাঁ এবার এটা এই ডিলিটে মারো।
Just a moment.
শেয়ার হয়ে গেল। এবার তুমি যা দেখাও
Just a moment.
এটা হাইড করে দাও, না হলে অনেক সময় অবস্ট্রাক্ট করে। এই যে
Sir,
হাইড
the screen is visible.
Screen is visible?
হ্যাঁ
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And am I also visible?
Yes, yes. Sir, you are
Okay.
also visible. Screen is also visible.
Okay. জলের বোতল।
জল
জলের বোতল। Okay, done. Actually, last week class was very important for being recorded, you know. That's okay.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Actually, I didn't
No, that's
know.
okay. That's okay. So, you will be here for 1 hour, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell me, should I start now or wait for
yes,
2
sir.
minutes?
Sir, as you want. Like students are joining.
So just
sir,
wait for 2 minutes. 1 minute.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Let me go to slideshow. Okay. Okay. The screen is visible, okay?
Yes, sir. Screen is visible.
Okay. Okay, let me start. It's already
Okay, sir. Okay.
11:35.
Hmm.
Okay. Good morning. Namaskar to you all. So let us start today's session. Please do remember what I mentioned in the beginning of the last class. That is the first class. The motivation of today, these series of lectures is essentially to prepare you for getting good jobs in software industry. I'll just take 2-3 minutes repeating whatever I mentioned in the previous class as well. So what are the essential criteria a student must satisfy to be successful in getting a good job? Number one, of course, thorough knowledge on the subject proper. That means the subjects you are learning. Here, please do remember, knowledge on basic subjects are absolutely essential. By basic subjects, I mean data structures, algorithms, discrete maths, database management systems, computer networks, computer architecture and organization. So these basket of 5-6 subjects, you must be very thorough. Today, everybody talks about AI, machine learning, IoT. Of course, you have to know that. But those will not help unless you know data structures and algorithms. computer networks. People talk about developing app, etc. Fine, those are application areas. But never ignore these 5-6 basic subjects. Number one. Number two, you must be very thorough in coding. You must be very thorough in coding. C++, Java, Python, whatever. But these are generally most common languages. This is number two. Number three, developing the proper attitude. Developing the proper attitude. The attitude should always be positive. If you don't know something you are asked for, fine, you say that, sorry sir or madam, I don't know. When somebody says that I do not know something, it also means that she knows something else. And never try to give any excuses. If you are asked a question on, say, databases, and your answer is, sorry, that was not in my syllabus, that was not taught in the class, these may be correct, but that won't help you in getting the job. Rather, that will create a negative impression about yourself. Then, at no point of time, you should show arrogance. Assertion and arrogance are not the same thing. For a true professional, of course, she has to be assertive sometimes, but without being arrogant. In a calm, cool manner, voice, she has to express herself, assert herself. So that was and never lose your smile under any circumstances. Even if you find in a very difficult situation, never let your expression to make others feel that you are in a desperate situation. Never lose your smile. And number 4, you must have some idea about the industry where you are going to work. You must have some idea, at least some idea about the industry where you are going to work. It is extremely difficult for a student, even for a faculty member, who is throughout in academic world, to understand the intricacies, the problems, challenges in industry. Here we concentrate ourselves to software industry because that's our domain. In this series of talks, we will concentrate on that 4th criteria. We will try to understand what is required to be successful in software industry. What are the characteristics? What are the attributes? How do I update myself to make myself suitable for the industry? So I hope it's clear. Whenever you attend any particular lecture, in whatever context, you should know what you are expecting from that series of lectures. This is what you are supposed to expect from these series of lectures to help you. But remember, this is only one of the 4 criteria. I have already mentioned the other 3 criteria, which are equally important, But this is also equally important. So here, this has to be the expectation. This has to be in the expectation from the participants of these sessions. So far as what he or she can expect to understand after attending this series of sessions. Any questions? Don't feel shy in asking questions if you feel like. And otherwise, you can also send your questions after the session in chat box or through email, WhatsApp to the coordinator. And I will take up the questions before beginning of the next class. Okay. As you have seen, today I have fine-tuned the title of this series of talks. Engineering of software products and services. Engineering of software products and services. Again, if you remember correctly, let me see. This is the slide we had used in the last class. And this is the, the Bible of software engineering. In one sentence. Discipline of software engineering deals with studies on science, engineering, technology, and management of feasibility study, design, development, testing, deployment, maintenance, and evolution of software products and services based on mutually agreed upon specifications, time estimates, and cost estimates with embedded focus on maintainability, scalability, reusability, reliability, upgradability, and reconfigurability. Unlike what the students tend to think during the class, software does not mean only the coding. Of course, this is a very important aspect, but this by no means covers the entire spectrum under the domain of the term software. Like algorithm. Of course, algorithm is very important. But again, software is much, much beyond, from engineering perspective, much, much beyond algorithm and coding. If you understand very clearly the words written in bold, italic, and underlined, your job is done. Considering the importance, even if I do not read this sentence every day, remember this will serve as the driving force for our lectures every day. So let us repeat it again. The discipline of software engineering deals with studies on science, engineering, technology, and management of feasibility study, design, development, testing, deployment, maintenance, and evolution of software products and services based on mutually agreed upon specifications, time estimates, and cost estimates with embedded focus on maintainability, scalability, reusability, reliability, upgradability, and reconfigurability. Of course, this is a huge sentence. It will take 1 year to explain all this, but we'll try to do justice in such a short time, whatever we can do. In the last class, we have briefly touched upon decoding the words science, engineering, technology, and management. This we have discussed with examples in the last class. Before going to the next set of words, let us go back to the title of the topic. as presented today. Engineering of software products and services. $1 million question. Can we consider software as a product? Can we consider software as a product? For that, we need to understand what is a product. Product is something which can be felt, which can be marketed, which is useful, which has to be developed, which has to be maintained. As a naive user, this is what we understand. Just a moment. Okay. So, the entire discipline of software engineering is based on the underlying hypothesis whereby we accept software as a product. There are arguments both in favor and against. There are arguments both in favor and in against. Just a moment. Yes. So, people against this argument, against this statement, they claim that software is something like writing a poem. It's something like writing a poem. Today it's raining outside. Having given the specifications of rains, cloudy skies, humming birds, green trees, you write a poem. That is a creative art. Similarly, they claim that having the specifications of, say, Indian Railways, trains, passengers, drivers, fare, etc., etc., you write a code to assimilate all the information in a piece, which is also a creative art. And it is also true, just like for the same specifications, for the same domain, the poem may vary depending on the person who is creating the poem. The program will also vary depending on whosoever is creating the program. So that's why they say this is a creative art and this cannot be considered as a product. For people like us who believe software as a product, is our logic is, yes, the poetry is a creative art. But when you write the poetry or a series of poems to develop a book which you want to market with a price tag and make money out of that, then that book becomes a product. I hope you understand the point. A poem or a long story by itself is a creative art. Even a picture, even a drawing, piece of music, Whenever you create, it is created. Yes. But when you create that and finally package it properly so that this can be marketed, with a price tag and made some money out of that, then we consider that as a product. In fact, we should use the word money, we should use it some other metrics also. You may not get money, but you may get some other benefits out of that. It's not just like, you did it because you love it. Beyond that, you want to make a living out of that. Then this is a software product. In fact, for many years, ACM did not recognize software as a product. In fact, they did not recognize software engineering as a discipline at all. On the other hand, IEEE, for long, they have considered software engineering as a very important discipline. So our logic is, if, say, a model Camry of Toyota can be considered as a product, why not Windows 10? Why not Oracle? Oracle package has been sold in n number of times compared to Toyota Camry. And the other characteristics also you have to understand, which generally at the student life we fail to understand. Most of the products, in fact probably all, they have some functional specifications as well as non-functional specifications. Take for example, when you buy a car, when you buy a new vehicle, how many of you have tasted the engine, which is essentially the car? We are more concerned with the color, leg space, dashboard, Wi-Fi hai ya nahi hai, back the camera hai ya nahi hai, which has got nothing to do with the basic utility of the car. These are non-functional requirements. Similarly, when you buy a refrigerator, how many of you are interested to taste the compressor only? Very few. You go by the color, shape, capacity, all those. These are non-functional requirements. In fact, in many cases, non-functional specifications probably play a much bigger role than the functional specifications of the product. When you consider a software in today's world, think of the railway reservation system. You are using a software. It has functional specifications. What are the functional specifications? Storage, management, analysis, retrieval of information, which it does perfectly well. But then, is it sufficient? User also would be interested to know, to look at the GUI, how the GUI has been designed, how the GUI has been developed, what is the color, what is the font, what is the standardization, to what extent it checks invalid data entering into the subject, entering the database. That may be a functional specification also. Design of GUI is a huge topic. And then remember, taste of users vary depending on country, depending on location, and all those. Depending on so just like when you design a refrigerator for China and at the same time design a refrigerator for Germany, the compressor could be more or less same, but the finished product would be different. Why? Because Chinese are generally shorter in size. Germans are much taller. Germans are much taller. For those who travel sometimes by those fine, good-looking buses nowadays, AC buses, you may have seen that the handles within the bus is too high. Handle within the bus is too high for Indians to catch. And that's even more difficult for the Indian girls. Why? Because it was designed in maybe Germany, Russia, or wherever, where they are much taller. We did not even bother to tailor-made it according to our requirements. For those who have traveled to developed countries, you may have seen when the bus stops, the foothold lowers down so that aged people can come down easily. It has got nothing to do with the movement of the bus, but it gives you comfort, which generally we tend to ignore. In India, generally we tend to ignore non-functional requirements. But now, with the globalized world, whenever you think of developing a product which is expected to be sold anywhere in the world with absolutely diversified population and all those, you have to keep that in mind. I hope I could make you understand why we should consider software as a product. And you can easily understand the shift in focus in developing a software when you develop it in your classroom vis-a-vis when you develop it in the industry. Of course, we'll study these aspects in much further details as we go down the line. Then comes services. Now, whenever you develop a software product, you need some platform. You need some platform to develop it. Suppose you want to develop a very large database and you have to buy Oracle, Sybase or whatever, some database package. Very often you will see that once you develop a product using all those components, the cost of utility software packages is probably 80%. Then why should I buy Oracle? Instead of buying Oracle, we can probably buy the license of using Oracle, say for 3 months, 8 hours a day or something like that. without buying the oracle outright. And that gives us the advantage of getting the utility software upgraded by the vendor itself as and when the updates are available in the market. It's something like that. Everyone of us has to travel. Now, very few of us are still traveling physically. Most of the jobs are being done on the online basis. So, if you do not own a car now, you have to make a choice. Do you buy a car outright? Do you buy a car outright? Or I contact some agency and as and when required, I hire the car. Both are viable options. So, if you need the car very frequently, yes, you go for it. But remember, the value of a vehicle depreciates also very fast. On the other hand, if I depend on the rental services, I can choose the size, nature of the car, nature of the vehicle according to my requirement on that particular day. So in the first case, I buy the car as a product. In the second case, I buy the services of the agency. So there is a perceptible shift in the mindset of the users to shift from product-based propensity to spend versus service-based. A recent survey all over the world has also mentioned that the young generation today, who are very successful professionals, they are no more interested in buying luxurious flats. They are more interested in getting the flats on lease basis, because they do not previously, which was considered to be a long-term asset, this is now viewed as a long-term liability, because jobs are very mobile nowadays. Salary package and all those are very unpredictable. It could be very high, very low, depending on time. Choices may vary. So it seems that the choice is more being shifted towards leased-based products as much as possible to retain the flexibility. In fact, if you stretch this concept of transition from products to services, stretches further, you get what is known as cloud services. Just extend these discussions further. Why should I buy so much amount of storage space? Let it be, let some other person or some other organization take care of that. So long as I can use the space allocated to me whenever I need it. And it comes with other advantages. If I have my own storage space, it's very difficult for me to retain redundancy, security, and all those. Now, I I download such housekeeping jobs to some organization which is specialized for that. Instead of buying Oracle, I can buy Oracle 3 hours a day from cloud. So this is an extension of whatever we have been discussing. We have been discussing so far. In a very lighter vein, one example I give everywhere while introducing cloud computing or cloud-based services is every one of us take milk every day. In the family, there is a serious consumption of milk. But do you buy a cow to get the milk? Yes, you can. But hardly you prefer to buy the cow. For all kinds of, to avoid all kinds of problems associated with maintaining the cow. So, I just wanted to make you aware of the transition from product to services. And finally, cloud-based services. Any questions? Any questions? Please feel free to raise hand and in any case, this lecture is being recorded. So try to, if you feel like, you can revisit this again and again. Okay. So now coming back to your domain. When you aspire to join a software company, either that company will be on products or that company will be on services. Generally, there may be some in between. When you join Microsoft, that is an out and out product-based organization. On the other hand, when you join TCS or Infosys, they are predominantly service-based organization. So you can very well expect that the expectations of the employers from you as their future colleague will depend on the nature of that organization. I hope it's clear. Expectations from product-based organization and expectations from service-oriented organizations are expected to be at variance. Now there is a third category of organizations where your services would be required, where your knowledge in a particular domain, would be of tremendous usage. I give you an example. First of all, you have to understand the difference between domain, theme, technology. Domain, say automobile. Theme, electronic vehicle. Technology, IoT, AI, machine learning. Domain, agriculture. Theme, precision usage of water resources. Technology, again, could be drone, could be whatever. At the college level, your focus is generally on the technology. You talk about IoT, AI, ML, and all those. Very rarely you talk about the domain. Embedded systems, very rarely you talk about the domain. And such technology based, theme oriented requirement in domains are inherently interdisciplinary in nature. Of course, at the moment there is a huge shortage of manpower required to develop and service electrical vehicles or driverless vehicles. You ask any one of your friend in, say, US, at least more than 50% of them, they will say that they are working on driverless cars. Remember, you did not have to stretch your imagination that far. Even within India, if you drive your car, you have seen the way the interior of the car has changed, the dashboard has changed. Today, internet is available at the steering itself. You don't have to have microphone or whatever. You can have wireless chargers in your car. So a vehicle is more of an electronic product than a mechanical product nowadays. The students have their passion in many fields. Like while studying in, say, information technology or computer science, you may have a passion for vehicles. For those who are coming from rural background, they may have some passion for improving the quality of farming. So as a technology, when you study drones, it makes sense for you to keep in mind the domain where you are going to use the technology. one common project, in fact, I'm advising a couple of startups. One common project there is using large number of bee drones, small drones, to take care of insects in small trees. You have seen the tomato, baigan and all those trees. जिसमें insects होता है ना. So generally we use sprays. Generally we use sprays to get rid of those. But that's dangerous because you are polluting the entire environment. Nowadays, huge amount of research is going on. How to? So we say we leave hundreds of bee drones programmed who can interact with each other, and I sit on the console in my laboratory and pick each leaf one at a time. I'm giving you some examples like this. So, as you have noted, first of all, you have to think the entire global arena as your prospective workplace. Entire global arena. You did not concentrate yourself to Bengal, India, Asia, whatever. Number one. Number two, these software product-based organizations, many of them, in fact, probably most of them, concentrate heavily on startups. Yes, the culture of startup is not common everywhere in the world, and even within the same country is not homogeneously improving everywhere or increasing everywhere. Even in US, startup culture is very common in Bay Area, California, not that much in the East Coast. In Europe, of course, it's much less hyped up. What I'm saying, when you apply for a job, when you try for a job, generally these small organizations, startup based, very few people, they are high risk, high rewarding companies. High risk, high rewarding companies. It is very often said that even if 1 out of 20 startups becomes successful, the owner of the startup basically becomes a multi-billionaire. And these startups usually work on developing some innovative products. They will pay you much more, but no guarantee how long that company will survive, and naturally how long the job will survive. But you will learn a lot. You will learn a lot in development. So I would also suggest for those, mainly for those who have some passion about some other domains, like, as I said, automobiles. Could be stock market. Could be stock market. Could be agriculture. Could be transportation, sanitation. So when you study IoT, at the same time, try to visualize how these technology can be put to use in that particular domain. Smart city was a big concept. So many complex algorithms can be deployed there. So together with technology, try to develop some kind of passion within you, to even get attracted to the domains where that technology is going to be used. So basically, these are the three categories. These are the three categories of organization. And there is another category who are essentially in management services, rendering consultancy for, writing tenders, evaluation of project proposals, making feasibility study analysis, and all those. Many of them pay heavily as well. Some banks, but I am not sure for bright young graduates coming out of the college, those are the right kind of jobs, even if they could be highly remunerative. Because intellectually and technologically, you may not find that lucrative. And finally, do remember 30, 40, even 20 years back, when most of the jobs were in public sector, government sector, it was difficult to get a job. Once you get a job, it was even more difficult to lose the job. Today, it is easy to get a job. It is much easier to lose the job. Whatever you are, wherever you are, how much you earn, whatever you do, you have to keep your eyes and ears open and keep on updating yourself. But obviously, you cannot update yourself in every area. You cannot update yourself in every area. Identify some domains, some technologies which you feel gels with your background very well. Concentrate on those and develop highest level of competence and keep on updating that. That is very, very important. And also be careful about getting the right information at right time. Previously, it was very difficult to get any information. But today, you are always flooded with information, but you do not know which is correct and which is not. Even you do not know which is made with kind of some, motivated advertisement kind of thing. So you have to remember that as well. So this is what since the last class was not recorded, of course that was discussed with different connotation. I thought of sharing with you some of the very important characteristics which I have observed during the course of my professional experience, and most importantly, when I was a faculty in IIM Calcutta. So I wanted to share with you all these. To remember, scoring high marks. Okay, good. You tell your friends that you have got 95. But that does not guarantee you getting a good job. Getting a good job is an entirely different ball game altogether. Again, go back to those 4 points I have mentioned in the beginning. So from next session onwards, I continue with our this comprehensive statement and carry on wherever we are stopping today. So from the next class, in the next class, we'll concentrate on the next set of keywords: feasibility study, design, development, testing. All these are huge topics. Mainly design, development, and testing. These are like testing also happens to be one of my research areas. So I hope you would understand, you would enjoy the sessions. So once again, any questions? Any question?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So if you have any questions later on, pass it on to the coordinator through chat box or whatever, by whatever means. And we'll start discussing those before commencement of the next class. That is same day, same time after a week. That means the next Tuesday. Okay. I think that's it for today.
Thank you, sir.
So that's it for today. You prepare for lunch now.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You just slept or whatever.
Sir, I'm here.
No, I was just joking. Okay.
No, no.
So I think that's it for today. I hope the students will get benefited on the discussions. These, I believe, these are typical discussions held in management schools, big management schools, IML, Calcutta, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, and all those. Okay. And the other thing is, since you have recorded,
Yes, sir.
is it accessible from YouTube as well?
Sir, we can if you sir want, we can upload this in the YouTube.
Yeah.
This
So so many of my students are interested to share these and
okay,
all
sir,
that.
that can be done.
So if you can do it, or rather if you do it, but talk to your talk to this Joyanto. So then share the link.
Okay, sir.
Share the link with me.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Acha, what are the puja holidays you have?
Sir, the holidays is from the ninth. So next week we are sir having the class. Next week, sir,
Okay,
it is
good.
5th.
Okay,
So
okay,
it is starting from 9th. So next week we can have the
okay.
class in the
So
scheduled
next
time.
week, same time, same day,
Yes, sir.
11:30 to 12:30, and make it ready by 11:20.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you.
So, sir, with your permission, we can end the session today.
Sure.
Okay. Thank
Today
you,
we
sir.
are through.